Hey guys, back in the basement again for another sports recap. Guys, the draft just ended a few hours ago, and the Birds have made a run on defensive players. Now, first three rounds, well, we got one defensive player, a safety, rest of players was offense, which is all good because some of the plays we definitely needed. You know what I'm saying? Like that center position was definitely a must. So, I understand what we had to do. We did what we did. We added a third receiver as well as a third tight end. You know what I'm saying? So we got some plays that we needed. I really feel like we could have probably waited. You know what I'm saying? We could have waited towards the end of these last 4 to 6, 7 rounds, but we chose to go with the former instead of the latter. It is what it is. But with that being said, Dennis Allen said, "Hey guys, I understand you offensive minded coach Ben Johnson, but I need some fellas. I need some dogs from my side of the ball." And lo and behold, my man got him some dogs. With that being said, let's start off. Fourth round pick number 124, Malik Muhammad, cornerback at the University of Texas. Hey, he said, "Hey, I need another cornerback. We need to create more depth." And with that being said, I need this guy, Mr. Muhammad. Brought Malik Muhammad in, got him a good player, a physical, competitive outside corner. You know what I'm saying? SEC tested. When you play in the SEC, you playing to get some dogs, some future NFL players. So you already know what it is. So he's strong in the man coverage, physical at the line, good tackler for a corner. He said, "I ain't got none of that Deion Sanders in me, none of that prime. I'm going to get down. I'm going to tackle." Shout out to Prime. Shout out to Coach Prime. His only concern that I see that I always be with is his deep coverage and being consistent about it, right? Because they're gonna test you. You get in there and right now, they're gonna test some rookies. They're gonna put you to the test. You got a bit of stand up, right? You got a bit of rise up to the occasion. So it is what it is. That's probably my only concern. You know, he can get a little grabby, what I'm saying? So with that little grabby stuff comes with some penalties. Say they don't play that in the NFL. They don't play it in college, but they really don't play it in the NFL. So you got to kind of watch it. So, it is what it is. Look, I look at him as a good depth piece, what I'm saying? A piece that you could rotate in at the cornerback 2 or the cornerback 3 spot. You know what I'm saying? So that's always gonna be a plus when you could create that competition in the cornerback room. So and when you could do that, it's gonna create, iron sharpens iron. You know what I'm saying? Just like any positions. You know what I'm saying? We got 3 tight ends. They're going to create a competition for each other, just like on that defensive line. Just like on the defensive line. Just like in that linebacker room. Speaking of linebacker room, we got us one of those too. We got one of those too. Keyshaun Elliott, linebacker out of Arizona State, round 5, pick number 166. We needed some more depth at that position. You know what I'm saying? Because we lost a few good linebackers, I feel like, last season. With that being said, we got to replenish the stash. You got to replenish the stash. So with that being said, he's a great athletic type linebacker, good side to side speed. You always need that. Great pursuit, tackling range, flashes in a cover. You know what I'm saying? A pretty decent cover. He got a high motor. That's always good. You don't have to continue to wrap him up. He's going to be all wrapped up. You better bring him down a little bit, then try to get him going. But it is what it is. Especially at that linebacker position, you want him to come out fired up and ready, huh? You want him coming out ready to bust heads, bring the Roddells, like we used to say back in the days. He just need, some of the concerns that's worrisome is the need to improve the intensive reading of the defense. Sometimes he can over pursue the play, and of course that comes with you just being with that high motor and pursuing the tackle range. And that when you like that, you got to kind of bring them down. Hey, you got to make the reads. You linebacker, you got to make them read. So it is what it is. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the squad because I've seen some times where they put him as a pass rusher and he was making plays, making tackles, creating havoc as far as with the quarterback, and I like that. because we always need more help at the pass rush position. So, of course, he's going to start off at probably more likely special teams and kind of grow from there. But he's going to get his opportunity, I'm sure, because injuries always happen. Unfortunately, it's what it is. It's just part of the game. But he's going to get his opportunity. Hopefully, he's able to take advantage of it. You understand what I'm saying? Hopefully, he's able to take advantage of it. With that being said, let's keep going. Round 6. And this is the final pick because we end up trading our 2 7-round picks in order to move up to get back into round 6 at pick number 213 to get Jordan Van Berg. Jordan Van D. Berg. Let me make sure I get my man's name right. No disrespect to my man. I want to make sure I pronounce his name right. Defensive tackle out of Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. Y'all heard me. The Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. That's what they used to be. I think they still call him that, but I remember that's what was one of the things. And when I remember watching them on TV, they had this old raggedy 1920s car riding down the field. But let's get back to it. Big body, interior defensive lineman, man, is going to create havoc. Strong against the run. That's what you want. High effort motor, physical presence on the inside. One of the things that's concerning is limited on this pass rush. Look, man, he's a defensive tackle. Not everybody is a goddamn Warren Sapp. Not everybody is an Aaron Donald. Hell, not everybody's a Tommy Harrison. Now, for you guys who don't know who Tommy Harrison was a great defensive tackle that we drafted out of the University of Oklahoma. Love that guy, man. Unfortunately, injuries really cut his career short, and that's just unfortunate. But somebody like my man, Jordan, he'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? We need him just to hold the line, stop the run. You know what I'm saying? And get a little pass rush. Ain't nobody say you need to get about 8 sacks a season. No, nobody's asking for that. But just some pressure. If you get pressure on the quarterback, every little bit helps, right? Every little bit helps. So with that being said, I'm just glad to see that we are able to create and add depth onto the defense line. Like I always say all the time, defense line, offense line, you can never have enough of those guys. Those guys are always going to be in the rotation because, man, this is a physical game. And they right there in the trenches. So, we added depth, added a good rotational run stopper. I'm glad to see that. And, the thing about these late round picks, they could be sneaky value picks. That's what a lot of people don't understand. We got Kyle McNunn guy last year in the 7th round, and he was very beneficial to us. Played a lot of good minutes, did a lot of great things, and has a lot of upside. And we got him in the 7th round out of Rutgers. So you never know how some of these players turn out. Some of these players just get overlooked, maybe because of their size, not, their height, the length of their arms down, the hand style. You hear all type of reasons why some of these guys fall. Maybe they had a few injuries sometime during the season or through their career and it kind of, held them back. You never know. But with that being said, I'm just glad that we was able to continue to add depth at the defensive side of the ball because we greatly need it after going to the first 4 picks. We're getting 3 out of the 4 offensive players. Okay, show some love to the defensive side. You know what I'm saying? Defense wins championships. So we had to make sure we add some depth to our defense and make sure that we did what we need to do to help our team win at any cost. With that being said, I will catch you beautiful people on the next one. Right on.